Hello students, Michael Sanchez here. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the metronome. And the metronome is a tool that's used to help keep rhythm in music. So if you're having trouble knowing exactly how long to hold certain notes, this is going to be a really good lesson for you. So let's just start off by writing up some cards. And the first one relates to what does the metronome help with? So basically the metronome is going to help us to establish a sense of rhythm. So without the metronome, it's very easy to hold certain notes too long or too short, but the metronome is always going to be consistent so that we can stick to it, and eventually, because you're using the metronome, the songs are going to sound like they're supposed to. Next, the metronome can really help you to gradually work up speed in a song. So if you're first learning a song and it's pretty difficult, you might want to start off at a slower metronome reading, but then work up speed until it sounds the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to show you how to use the metronome today and how to work up speed and using the tool. The last one is that a metronome really helps you to avoid rushing. Many students, if they have a certain part in music that's pretty easy, they'll play the notes too fast instead of playing them longer. So the metronome is going to really help you to avoid rushing. So for those of you guys that have played an orchestra, you have a pretty good idea that it's pretty easy to keep rhythm. That whatever the person ahead of you is doing, you just pretty much follow what they're doing, and that's going to be in rhythm. But when you're playing by yourself or you're practicing by yourself, it's really important to have that established rhythm in your head. So when I'm playing violin, I'm always thinking of that beat, that consistent beat all the time. That might be slow. That might be fast. Now, even without the metronome, I've heard it so many times that I'm just able to have that in my head. So when I'm playing, I'm always playing in rhythm and tempo. Not all the time. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. But the more you hear the metronome, the more you're going to get really used to that beat. So I highly recommend that you start using it in your practice sessions, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to use it today. So the next card that I actually put together is going to talk about the basic rhythms that we're going to be talking about today. And this is certainly not all the rhythms that you're going to see in music, but these are the basic ones. So this is kind of a good place to start. So the first rhythm that I have down here is the quarter note. And the quarter note is the most common rhythm you're going to see in music. It's the dot with the stem, and that's basically one bow stroke or one click in metronome terms. The next one is the half note, which is a white dot with a stem, and that's 2 beats, so that's 2 clicks. Dotted half note is 3 beats, so you see a little dot afterwards. And then the last one is the whole note, which is 4 beats. So basically 4 of these are going to equal 1 of these, the same length as far as with the metronome. 2 of these would equal 1 of those. Like 1 of these and 1 of these would equal 1 of those. It's basically just simple math. 1 plus 3 equals 4, or 2 plus 2 equals 4, or 4 plus 4 equals 2 of these. It's basically just simple math. Okay, so these are the ones we're going to be talking about today, but eventually there will be ones that are faster and slower, but I want you to kind of just start here. Okay. So I got another card here that's going to have the tuner that metronome tuner that I suggest you download on your smartphone. You can also get tuners anywhere in music stores or online. But this particular one that I'm going to show you guys today is free. It's called the Pro Metronome app. You can download it on your iPhone, I believe iPads. But it doesn't have to be this particular app. I mean, it can be pretty much anything that's considered a metronome. Now, a metronome has 3 features that I want to talk about today, and it's important to know what each of these mean. The first one is tempo, and tempo basically refers to how fast is that click going. So is it going really fast, click, 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 or is it going slower, click, 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 click. Okay, 40 is a pretty good speed to start, which is going to be a slower click. 80 is going to be a little bit faster, kind of a speed to work up to. So you kind of want to find a good level ground as far as how well you know the song and how hard the song is. But those are kind of the ranges I would suggest if you're just starting out. So I'll show you how to adjust that with the Pro Metronome. But it's pretty simple on every metronome. It's just basically a dial up and down that you just switch the tempo. The next one is beat. And I don't want you to think too much into this because it's somewhat unnecessary. But basically what I want you guys to have is either -4 or 1/4. And that's just referring to like the sound of the clicks. So sometimes if you have like, let's say 3/4, like this one here, it's going to be like click, 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 click. And that's not really necessary. You can do all metronome practice with just -4 or 1/4. So I just suggest you have it on that at this point. The last one is rhythm, which is basically there's different values that you can tell the metronome to be at for these 40 to 80. And I've been referring to everything being quarter note, but you can have it go faster or refer to different things. Don't worry about that right now, but just basically know that you should have quarter note, -4, 1/4, and then we're going to be working in between those speeds today. Okay, so I have an iPhone here. These are pretty nifty tools. And I'm going to press the Pro Metronome app that I've downloaded. And I'm going to show you guys my screen here. So as you can see, there's a number 53. That's the tempo we were just talking about. And that can be easily changed. Can't do it from this angle. By spinning this around. So right now you see it's going faster. So now if I played it, see how it's going fast? But now it's slowing down. Now I'm down to 40. Okay, so this is basically the tempo that you're going to be playing each quarter note at and playing your songs as far as how fast the bow stroke is going to be going. Okay. Also notice that there's 1/4. That means that there's one bar, which is what we were talking about, what we wanted. And there's also the quarter note as the value. Okay? So I'm going to set this at just in the middle. I'm going to set it at 60. This is actually the same beat as what a second would be, 60 beats per minute. Hopefully you guys can hear that click. Okay, now what's nice about the metronome is that this is going to go the same speed no matter what. Because it's a computer, right? It's not human. So humans are going to have different beats because we're not perfect. But this is what's nice about a metronome is it's always going to be the same, 60 beats per minute. Now what you should be trying to do is per each quarter note, trying to change the note right at the click. Change the note. Change it. Change. 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 Okay? So if I was to play 4 quarter notes with this tempo marking, ready, go. Okay, so did you hear how I hit it right on? Now if I wasn't on, it'd sound kind of like this. See how I wasn't hitting the clicks? Now listen as I hit the clicks. So this could be going faster, it could be going slower. It just depends on how fast you want to learn a certain piece, okay? But the key is that everything is equivalent to each other. So we don't want to play a certain measure, a certain piece like really fast, but then all of a sudden it gets hard and then we play it slow. Because that's not going to sound like the song, it's not going to sound the way you hear it. So this is all about keeping equivalent tempo. Okay? Now if you're thinking half notes, what you're going to do is you're going to hold your bow for 2 of these clicks. So I'm going to play 2 half notes with the same tempo marking. Ready? Go. 1, 2. 1, 2. You see how I changed the half note after every 2 clicks? Let's try dotted half note, which would be 3 beats. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See that? And then a whole note would be 4 of these. Ready? Go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're wondering, what exactly do I set this tempo at? It's all about how good you can do the entire piece in tempo correctly. So if there's like a really hard part in like the middle of the song, don't take the whole piece really fast and then all of a sudden you can't do that middle section. Do the entire piece at a tempo where you can get it mastered at that tempo and then work up speed. What's difficult about that is that it might be really hard to play the easy sections at a slow speed, but it's really good practice to get into that habit. So I highly recommend that you get into the habit of, no matter if a part is fast or slow, you're doing it in tempo. Very good. Remember, if you have any questions, email me, support@violintutorpro.com. Oh. Okay, so next I actually wrote out some notes. And we're going to go through this today with the click that we're at right now. I'm going to show you guys exactly how this would work in music, okay? So do you hear the clicks? Click, 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 okay? So I'm going to start up here. Ready, go. Click, 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 and click. That was the first line there. It's kind of simple, but that kind of gives you the idea of how this works. All right. This next line, ready and go. Click, 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 click. Okay? And then the last line, ready and go. Click, 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 click. Good. So let's say we do that and it's like really easy. We're playing everything just perfectly, in tune and in rhythm. Let's say after that we speed it up a couple notches. You don't want to go too far, but maybe just a couple. And then do it again. If you can do it perfect, then speed it up a couple more. Eventually until you get it up to a certain speed where it's sounding more like the song. So right now we're at 80. What you're going to see is much more difficult to get from note to note. Click, 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 click. See how that works? Okay, so I highly recommend that you start working with the metronome, and you can basically get these, like I said, at any music store online. You can download it nicely on your app, which is very convenient now with technology the way it is. But it's one of the worst habits for students to just pick up a piece, try to learn the notes, and not really pay attention to how things relate to each other. And it really happens a lot with students that only play in orchestra, and then they're just kind of always relied on that, and they can't really do it on their own. So what I recommend is that just, go back to some easier pieces and start to do this, and you'll be amazed at like some of the parts that you're not doing quite in tempo that before you thought you had it down. So, very good. So I hope you guys learned a lot today about using the metronome. Please feel free, like I said, to email me or give me a call. I'm always here to help and to answer your questions. I love teaching and hope you guys are really excited about learning violin. And please let me know again, if you have any problems, if you're not understanding the material, I'm here to help. So hope you guys have a great day.